Hello, Hybrid Anatomy and Physiology crew. Welcome to week 3. I will see you in class this week, but I always want to publish these ahead of time so that you can orient yourself to the week and just get going. So first thing always is to take a look at quizzes. When the quizzes from the previous week are published, take a look at the quizzes. Always the lecture quiz will be online and your lab quizzes will be handed back in class, and then close the loop on any content. It's really important to know the material, but it's also critical to figure out preparations. So for week 3, we've got a couple things to do in lecture. This week's lecture content will consist of 2 presentations. There's a skin or integumentary system presentation, and there's a skeletal system presentation. If you think about where we are on the hierarchy of things, we've done chemistry, we've done atoms and molecules and macromolecules. We moved up to cells, we did organelles and cells last week, and we've also done tissues, which are collections of cells. In that order, the next thing that will appear will be things like organs and organ systems, and this week we will start officially to move through the book at the level of the organ system. So 2 lecture presentations for this week, one on skin, one on skeletal system. Probably will lecture a little bit on skin when I see you in class. For lab this week, we will do histologies or tissues. And the nice thing about this is that you had tissues in lecture last week. We talked about the 4 types of tissue. We talked about the features. You've had a quiz over those things. And now we'll really dig into structure a little bit in lab this week. So that's the content. Also this week, you have a critical skills assignment due. In preparation for the upcoming exams, which I'll talk about here in a moment, you have a critical skills assignment due Friday night, which will ask you to write some test and quiz questions. And there will always be 3 kinds of questions on exams. There will be true or false questions, there will be multiple choice questions in which the answer is in front of you, and there will also be short answer questions, which require that you fill out, in your own words, the details of the answer to a question. So those are the 3 kinds of questions we will see. Your exams, your first set of exams, your lecture exam and your lab exam, will be held next week when we see each other in class. So there will be no quizzes this week. The next time we see each other, we will have a lecture exam during the lecture window, and you'll have a lab exam during your lab window. I like to have these exams relatively soon, especially the first one during the semester, to give you feedback. So there's less content than on the future exams that you'll see, and it's important to get feedback and know about expectations. Take a deep breath, you can do this. The first thing to do is focus on the content. For lecture, there's a skin presentation and a skeletal system presentation. In lab, we'll walk through histology and refresh, because you know some of this already, we'll refresh about tissue structures, and then you'll have some time to prepare for the upcoming exams. We'll talk about these a little bit more when I see you in lecture. If you take a look at week 3 in Canvas, there's a lot of details. You have a critical skills assignment due on Friday night, same time as always. And also, I'm going to ask you to sign a syllabus acknowledgement saying that you've read the syllabus. I've been asking you to do this for almost a month now, and I can tell that some of you haven't, just based on the questions that you're asking me, and I'll always just redirect you to the syllabus. We're all governed by the language in the syllabus, and there's some special stuff in there that deal with testing and policies and expectations and academic dishonesty. Whether you've read it or not, it still applies to you, but I would really appreciate it if you take the time to read that and just sign a little, and it's an easy link to get to. All you have to do is reply to me and say, hey, Paul, I've read the syllabus and I understand the contents. So that's what we have coming up. I know this is a lot. First things first. Review the quizzes review the lecture quiz once that's available. Focus on preparing for the lab quiz during our lab day, and then start really cranking on this content. Skin and bone this week for lecture, and histology will be for lab in preparation for upcoming exams. I'll see you all in class. Thanks for the work.